Hi, and welcome to this week's edition of the Las Vegas Advisor Weekly Update with Anthony and Andrew. Today is Friday, September 29th, 2023, and this is going to be a short one today because we have a lot going on. Anthony's got the newsletter that's coming out.
Yeah, deadline.
Yep, deadline and the
big time deadline.
Big time deadline.
Yeah.
And we got the blackjack ball going on.
Well, that's the other problem. I mean, usually we can get through a deadline pretty easily.
Yeah.
But this time I've got events because the annual once-a-year blackjack ball is going to be tomorrow.
Well, now, where's it going to be held?
Well, you know, in the past I couldn't tell you that.
Okay.
Because I don't know why, but it was always told it's a super secret location and you can't tell anybody. Like somebody was going to drop a bomb. Drop a bomb on the place. But we're doing it at the Ruvo Center. Mm-hmm. And it's a real shindig, man. I mean, people are supposed to wear tuxedos and, the whole thing. And the girls that come wear gowns. And, it's really a big deal.
It's a ball.
Yeah. It was the last year was the 25th anniversary.
Okay.
They made a real big deal out of it. And everyone liked it so much that they're doing it again.
And last year, if I remember correctly, was the first woman to be inducted into the Blackjack Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that was Kat Hulbert.
Okay.
Who was inducted posthumously, I hate to say. She died a few months before.
Nice.
But she was a spectacular blackjack player in her day. And in fact, she's one of the 8 people who are talked about or written about in Richard Munchkin's Gambling Wizards.
Okay.
So she was that good, as a blackjack player and a female to boot. So this year there'll be a new person inducted into the Hall of Fame. There'll be a new or maybe a repeat skills champion because we always do that. We bet on one another.
Okay.
It's a lot of fun. And next week we'll report on who got into the Hall of Fame, who won the championship in the competition, and the whole thing.
And you're going to play in it, right?
I always play in it.
Okay.
I hold the record for taking second.
Oh, that's hilarious. Okay.
Taking second more than anybody by a mile. I won it once, about 4 or 5 years ago I won it, but I think I've taken second about 6 times.
And you've mentioned before that there is one player that is not allowed to play anymore, and that's James Grosjean.
2 players.
Oh, 2 players.
Yeah,
Okay.
Grosjean was the first because nobody could beat him.
Uh-huh.
He won 3 of them real fast.
Okay.
And they retired him. They named the trophy the Grosjean Cup.
Okay.
And the other one was Richard Munchkin, who also won it 3 times.
Oh, really? Okay. I didn't realize he won. Okay.
Yeah, he won 3 times. So he got retired as well.
Okay.
Those 2 guys, you just, you kind of couldn't beat them.
Now, people keep saying they want to have Richard Munchkin on the podcast. So, Richard, if you're listening, we want you to be a guest on the show soon.
We'll have him. Okay, so we're going to start off with what we've been talking about the last couple of weeks, right?
Yeah, the Cyberattack is still going on.
Well, kind of, yeah. I mean, it's not completely resolved yet, but I mean, everything's pretty close back to normal.
Okay.
Most of the systems are online. What we're hearing, the biggest problems are some with room keys. The room keys still are not necessarily working all the time. The other, though, more important, is that people are having trouble logging on to their rewards accounts.
Okay.
So if you're coming to town and you got enough points for, whatever, to redeem and for meals and things like that, some people are having problems there.
Okay. But you can but the players' cards are working. So if you're gambling, you can put your players' card in the games at MGM and accumulate points.
Yeah, from everything I understand, the machines, the Tito is working, so they're not all hand pays anymore. The rewards cards are tallying points. Unfortunately, the garage gates are working again, so they're again charging for parking.
Paid parking.
Yeah. So I mean, everything's kind of back to normal, except for what the full resolution will be in terms of what they do to protect themselves in the future. Now there's lawsuits, against MGM for not protecting well enough, and this thing's going to go on and on.
And there could be insurance policies.
There's all that stuff happening.
Yeah.
So,
okay. So,
but yeah, the calamity is over. You can if you're coming to town and you're staying at an MGM property, you should be fine.
Now the big news in Las Vegas is that tonight the Sphere is opening with its first residency, U2.
Right. This is, the first of the big 3 projects that are going to open. The Sphere tonight, Durango, the new Durango Casino, will be November 20th.
Okay.
And then Fontainebleau has announced
December
13th.
Okay.
Which is a little interesting, isn't it? Fontainebleau has had nothing but bad luck, and they decided to open on the 13th.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't worry about things like that, but I thought that was a little interesting. It's going to be the Sphere is a big deal, man. Mm-hmm. It's a big deal. It's amazing from the outside. And now wait till you get to the inside. You know, all the technology and everything else. You know, they've got the greeters there are going to be robots.
I've heard about this.
Yeah, supposedly, I guess they're called Aura. I guess it's one robot called Aura, but he's got clones, or she's got clones.
Wow.
Described as the world's most humanoid robot.
Okay.
Which,
All right.
if you think back to the Will Smith movie, I, Robot.
Mm-hmm.
How creepy that was.
Yeah.
You know, where they were just like humans and they were talking and, you know, whatever. And honestly, that's the word I've heard in use with this is creepy. People who have seen it.
Okay.
So it's either going to be cool or creepy. I don't know.
Well, we're going to get used to interacting with robots at the Sphere.
Well, I guess this is, you know, what everyone's talking about, artificial intelligence and robots and, you know, on and on and on. And the Sphere is just going to be supposedly a technological wonder. And I guess it starts there at the front door.
I'm excited. They said 17,500 seats, not connected to a casino, not connected to a hotel.
Yeah, the most technologically advanced venue, you know, entertainment venue on the planet.
Exciting.
Yeah.
And with all the interruptions, we haven't had a chance to really talk about the CIRCA competition that's been going on weekly. Anthony, give us an update. Fill us in.
Yeah, we didn't talk about anything. You know, I mean, the MGM thing happened, and then we did a live feed, and we haven't had a regular show and been able to talk about CIRCA. Well, here's how it turned out. Survivor needed 8,000 entries. They got 9,267.
Oh, okay. All right. So they did well.
Yeah,
No overlay.
Yeah, no overlay, but all the money has been given back. Million, on the other hand, didn't reach the mark.
Okay.
All right, they needed 6,000 and they got 5,274. So that means there's a $726,000 overlay in CIRCA Million.
Okay.
Meaning there's $726,000 more in the pot for people to share. So if you divide that by the number of entrants, that means for each entry that you put up for 1,000, your average get back on that will be 1,138.
Nice.
So it's actually it's a positive play.
Okay.
You know, not many people are going to do that, you know, but it's a good tournament to play. On the other hand, Survivor, everyone, it's just been a bloodbath.
Yeah.
It's been an absolute bloodbath. After, I believe, only 4 weeks, they're down to under 2,500 players remaining.
Wow.
Yeah. And one of them is not me.
Oh, really? Okay.
No, I'm out again. You know, I had pieces of 6 entries and had 2 left last week, and both of them went down.
Oh, geez, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, well, it's just, you know, that's what happens in Survivor. You got to get a little crafty sometimes. You got to take some chances if you want to win the whole thing. It's winner take all. And, you know, we take chances, and we got knocked out. But, you know, we got knocked out, but others got put out because of the favorites losing. Favorites are losing all over the place.
And this happened last year too, right?
It happened last year, but not to the degree it's happening this year.
So this year's even worse than last.
This year's even worse.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't have all the exact numbers. I'm putting them together for the advisor, and maybe we'll say a little more about it next week. But it's just stunning, the attrition rate in this thing. So 24.79 left.
All right. And we'll keep you posted every week until the season's over.
Yep.
And this week's question of the week is related to the Survivor contest. It says, what happens if a football contest player forgets to put in his picks? Well, what happens, Anthony?
Well, most of the time, it just means that they score 0 for the week.
Okay.
All right. So if you're playing CIRCA Millions and you don't put in your picks, you go 0-5. All right, so it's not a killer. It's not devastating. It's kind of a killer. It's very hard to come back from that.
Yeah.
You know, anybody who wins, rarely will somebody win one of these big tournaments when they've posted an 0-5 record. So to have one put on you just like that, it doesn't mean you can't come back and do really well and play somewhere and even maybe win, but it will damage you pretty good.
Okay.
Now, in Survivor, it's catastrophic because you're out.
Right. You can't win.
Right. You know, so you get posted as a loss, and in Survivor, 1 loss and you're out.
Yeah.
So amazingly, in the first week, in week 1, 31 players did not submit a pick.
So they paid So 31 players paid $1,000. That's $31,000.
Yeah.
And they just didn't show up to pick.
Right. They paid $1,000 and just incinerated that money. Wow. Now, worse than that, the word is on the street that 10 of those 31 were owned by 1 player.
Oh, really?
So 1 player went to the max, you know, joined 10 times for $10,000 and did not submit her picks. I heard it was a female.
So something must have happened.
Something probably happened, like oversleeping. I don't know. But I mean, that's the problem with these things. Sometimes I've done it. We've talked about it before. I hate to admit it, but I've done it where you wait too long because you want to put in the best pick with all the information you can. You wait too long. Before you know it, something comes up. It gets in your way. You forget, and you look at the clock. And you go, oh my gosh, what did I just do? Or what did I just not do?
Oh, geez.
I did that a couple of years ago. And I can tell you, I looked up at the clock and immediately sweats just started dripping down my forehead. I said,
oh, no.
What did I just do? And there is no recourse. They will not, you cannot plead anything. You could tell them your car get hit by an asteroid and it doesn't matter.
Right. Oh, geez.
So
that's gambling.
That's that's just part of the game. You know, you got to be ready for it. Every week there's a group of people who don't put in their picks.
And this week's Jackpot of the Week is a very special Jackpot of the Week because it is yours truly. I won the video poker tournament at the Downtown Grand, and we just want to take a minute to talk about it.
Yeah, terrific. Good job.
Thank you.
That was excellent. Andrew, yes, you played well.
Thank you.
You played fast, and you made basically good, quick decisions.
Yeah.
And so, of course, we have to have you as this week's jackpot.
Thank you.
The strategy, which you followed very well, is essentially not to think too much, and you don't think too much. So, no. But I mean, no. When you play, I really do mean that. I mean that as a compliment. Is that rather than think over which play you should make, you just do something and you move on to the next. And you were doing that very well. But then again, you got very lucky.
Yes.
In the semifinals, you hit quad aces.
4 aces.
Yeah.
800 points.
And you're only playing for 4 minutes, and you hit quad aces, and then in the finals, you hit quad fours.
Yeah, that's right.
And it was still very close.
Yeah.
But so that shows that you can also get lucky.
Yeah.
You don't have to be the fastest player. The fastest player in the room hasn't won that tournament yet, as far as I've seen.
Right.
So, congratulations to that. This is, of course, the Thursday night video poker tournament at the Downtown Grand. Starts at 6 o'clock.
Yeah. And I just want to say to Anthony, from my perspective, it was a great feeling because I knew I hit the 4 of a kind. I knew that I was ahead. But there was also a few people going back and forth looking at me and then looking at another game. Mm-hmm. And I saw Anthony looking at me, and then he'd go over and then look at the other guy, and then he'd come back and look at me. And when the time was up, I knew it was between me and another guy, and Anthony looks at me like a proud father and said, you got it. You got it.
Yeah, it was close.
Yeah.
The guy on the other side was a good player and a fast player. He's actually won the blackjack tournament once or twice as well.
He was over 1,000 points.
Yeah,
and I had 1,100.
So good job. You got lucky, but you played well.
Yeah.
And it's a fun thing to do. People should try it.
It was a lot of fun. It was a great moment for me. It's the first time I've won any sort of gambling competition, and hopefully it's the first of many. Because I got a pretty damn good mentor.
All right, man.
All right. Next week, we're going to be talking about the football parties that are going to be going on in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I've gone to, we didn't have time this week, and I'm still putting it together, but I've gone to about 30 or 40 of the parties, including 15 of them in strip clubs.
Okay, fun.
So tune in next week, and we'll tell you all about it.
All right, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can also buy one of these fantastic Las Vegas Advisor hats. That's it for this week. We'll see you next week.
Well, I'm going to